You go. I want to wipe this off real quick. This is like, it's not good last time. Get it better. A little better. All right, we're ready to go. I'm excited. It's been a while since I spoke with anyone, especially, let me adjust this a little bit. My live friends on the internet. So just want to say hi to everybody. Happy holiday week. Welcome to Brent Knox, the podcast. This is number 6. And yes, I do have a new name for the podcast. Someone did give a suggestion, but I'm going to wait a little bit and roll that out. But yeah, I put something together, some information. And I think hopefully everyone likes it. But it's so that's a new thing I'm doing. But wanted to just kind of get started. I know this is a holiday week. This is Thanksgiving week. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some fun stuff to do during the holiday week. I love Thanksgiving. The reason why I like Thanksgiving so much, I think it's just well, it's a couple things. I think I try to figure out what to get people for Christmas. I'm not very good at Christmas gifts typically, but I always try to kind of, when I see people at Thanksgiving, I try to get some hints as to, since I don't see them that much during the year sometimes, and try to figure out what they want for Christmas, basically, which is probably why Black Friday is right after Thanksgiving, because once these people have seen their family, like, well, I got to go shopping and get them something nice. But just to focus a little bit on Thanksgiving, and I wanted to talk about games and some games to play during Thanksgiving. So during Thanksgiving, me and my family and I, we always kind of played games, and the adults and even the older adults played with the little kids. I know my grandpa would play games and bring games for the little kids as well as the medium-sized kids. And so I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that, show you some games and give you some strategies and give you some ideas on how you can play these games during the Thanksgiving holiday. So the first game I want to talk about. So remember, when you got little kids, you can always, of course, we go now to a place where they have a trampoline. And I love, you guys have seen some of the videos of me rolling around with the kids on the trampoline. I love doing that. They love a lot of physical stuff. But a lot of times, just remember, they love games like Chutes and Ladders, Candyland, that kind of stuff. If you get something like that, bring it to them, give them a gift like that, but play it with them. So, because my best memories of Thanksgiving, yeah, it's great to have the turkey and the food, and yeah, that's the biggest thing. But my best memories are time that I spent with adults. The older the better sometimes, because they had the funniest stories or they had the coolest games. So let's start with one game. So we've already mentioned the stuff for little kids. I'm not going to get into the little kid stuff. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. But Chutes and Ladders, always Candyland, that kind of stuff's always fun. So I'm going to go around the side. I have my assistant, my wife here. She's going to hand me one game at a time. So it's a surprise game number 1. Let's start with, this is a classic. So you guys have always played apples to apples, right? You guys played this game, very classic game. What's cool about apples to apples is you get to understand how people think. You have to kind of guess how they think. The better you know someone, the better off you are in this game. And I'll give you a quick example. We're going to play a quick round. So in apples to apples, the goal is to get the green cards. And the way you get the green cards, of course, is you go like this. So let's say the word is, we're going to use zany. The word is zany, like crazy, right? It means crazy. A lot of times, it's my wife, sometimes I'd have to explain what the word is because they had some really strange things in here, or they had like some old pop culture stuff. And sometimes we just chuck those cards out. So you put the word zany down, and then people that are playing the game, they have 5 different cards. And sometimes we give them 7 and 8 different cards, but they have a bunch of different cards. We call them house rules to choose from. And then you put down, well, zany, my bedroom's pretty zany. And then the person that's guessing, of course, you got to close their eyes. You can't see who's what. You mix them all up. You got to pick whose answer is closest to gamey according to your opinion. So the more you know about that person, the more you can throw some curveballs and get those points. And the first one, if you get it, then you get a green card. The first one to get 5 green cards wins. That's apples to apples. Good game. So let's move on to the next game. Before I get started, I want to give an honorable mention to one of my favorite games. This was Stop Thief, but RIP, I had to put this game to rest. Yesterday, I was going through all my games, and basically, it does not. The electronic crime scanner no longer works. I had put a lot of mileage on that game, played a lot of that game with the kids. A lot of times, they know, and we had a good time. But rest in peace. So I'll keep this. I'll probably put it on my wall because it's like my favorite card in Stop Thief. You can move anywhere. So I'm going to keep that and keep little keepsakes to help you remember, but I threw it away. So the next thing I wanted to bring up, this is a good one for younger kids who haven't ever played board games. Say, have you played chess? If they like to play chess, then play chess. If not, then play checkers. So you learn how to play checkers. I learned how to play from my grandpa. He taught me how to play checkers first and then chess. And we love checkers. And that's a good game. So remember, when you're playing chess, you always, like my grandpa taught me, the player's not killed and captured. The player's not captured, it dies. So chess is a good game to learn and teach kids, younger, older, whatever. Play a game of chess. Scrabble, the all-time classic. Everybody knows Scrabble, right? And in Scrabble, be careful these days because a lot of kids are playing that word finder or the Scrabble game online. I guess it's forget word search or whatever. Super popular game, and they cheat, so they think they're super good. And also in Scrabble, the other two, and so people will cry. You have to start with rule 1. What is rule 1? You have to use a dictionary. You cannot play this game without a dictionary, okay? And you both have to agree on it. But hey, in today's world, you can use a phone and say dictionary.com. Go there, and if it's in there, it's in there. But it cannot be of course, a proper noun, so it can't have a capital, can't be abbreviation, it cannot be slang. You have to set your rules before you play Scrabble. I'm helping you. I'm keeping you away from those family fights. Oh, so here's another one, of course. Boggle, shaky, shaky. So you shake up the words. You guys want to play a little bit while you're there? Let's do it. Let's see who can find some words. I'm going to shake it up a little bit. Now, here's where you play when you have like younger kids. You allow the younger kids to do 2- and 3-letter words. So typically with the adults, you say, no, you can't. So you can say no. You see no right there. You can't do it. Of course, in the camera, it might look like a Z. But noons, and you just write down your words and have a good time. Boggle is always a good play for people who don't want the structure of Scrabble. And you don't need a dictionary. Well, you kind of do. Yeah, actually, this one, I forgot. You do need a dictionary because you have to look up the word. If it's not in there, then and don't make it political. Don't have people vote, say that's a word. That's good. That's a big problem. Here's a behemoth. You guys know this game? You played this game? Scattergories. So let's do a little fun with scattergories. I'm not gonna roll the dice. Oh man, some pieces of my Stop Thief game are still in here. Oh, rest in peace, Stop Thief. I want to get another game. It's a new game. It's an old game, but I haven't had it. My brother wrecked it. Don't tell him I talked to him, but he got him so mad he wrecked the board. But it was called Feudal, and that's another one that's on my list. So categories, of course, I'm not going to roll the dice, but let's play one quick category. Show you how to play categories. I'll make it quick. Now with categories, everybody gets their own list. You have to go off the list. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. We're going to talk at list 9. And I'm going to give you some hints and tricks of playing categories. So we see on list 9, it says number 1, restaurants, right? So let's say if you have a restaurant and the letter is B. So you roll the dice and the letter is, and the right dice will tell you a letter. Say the letter's B, right? I'll find the B. Where's the B? Is there a B? Okay, there better be a B. There better be a B. So letter is B, right? Well, if the category says here is restaurants and you write Bob's Big Boy because you're supposed to write things that start with the letter B, that is a 3-pointer because it's proper and it's 3 B's. So like if you have famous cartoon characters and you put Mickey Mouse, my house rule, that's 2 points. So it's another twist on the fun games categories. Bring this to a family outing. Put some teenagers down or some people that are used to just playing on their phone all the time and make them play. Make them have a good time. If you have to, hide their phone. Well, don't do that. They'll probably worry the whole time, but do what you got to do to get them to play a game, to get them to interact. So that's categories. What else we got here? All right. Oh, of course, I cannot mention, I can't forget to mention the most popular game besides chess of all time, Monopoly. Everybody knows Monopoly. Everybody knows the gold ones are the money makers, right? New York Avenue and the bunch, St. James. But I wanted to show you something that you guys probably already knew about, but this is the Monopoly ATM machine. It means you don't have to be the banker and you don't have to worry about cash, and people can't necessarily cheat by getting full price back for their houses. So make sure they get half off. This does all the calculation for you. It's like an ATM machine. You put your card in there right here, tells you exactly how much money. Oh, I don't even know if it's on. Look, it's on. It tells you exactly how much money you have. I forgot to test this one. Make sure it's on. See? Well, it looks like my battery's kind of low, but if I were to put my card in there, tells me exactly how much money is on that card. So it does all the banking for you. So must have. If you gonna play Monopoly, bring the ATM machine. Tell the kids no whining, and don't let them trade amongst themselves because they will gang up on you if you talk too much smack. So Monopoly's going away. This was actually my mom's game. And it's one of the last games we played together. So I love this game and I'll never get rid of it and nobody can have it. So a couple more I want to show you. Of course, a classic card game, Uno. So everybody knows Uno, right? But there's a lot of twists, and look up some twists on Uno. So I'll give you example. With Uno, one of them, the red zero can be we call the red tomato. And the red tomato, you put it down and it means whoever you want's turn can go next. Or you can make all kinds of house rules. And typically when you win, this is how we play. When you win a hand at Uno, you get to make a rule for the next game. So it can't be anything outlandish, but you could say, okay, every time someone gets a green 3, that means they pass it and you have to write it down. Whatever, some crazy rule. And this makes Uno really fun. And you play late into the night. Next thing you know, you got too many rules and then you got to quit. So the next one I want to show, which is a classic, but it lasts days. And me and my brother and my friends, we would play, and I played this with family as well, Axis and Allies. You guys may have heard of it. You may have seen it. This is like Risk on steroids. It has all the different pieces, and it's basically about world conquest. I'm not going to get into it too much. Of course, if we did one round of Axis and Allies, it'd probably take about 30 minutes at least. But with Axis and Allies, it's all about the beginning of World War II. You have everything from aircraft carriers, battleships, infantry, tanks. I mean, it has all these different things that you could buy. There's money. It's a pretty complex game, but once you get it, it's a lot of fun. And basically, people, if you have 5 players, it's even the best because then everybody gets a country and you all have to work together. And of course, I always like being the Allies because there's 3 against 2. And who wants to be a Nazi anyways? So there's one more. There's 2 more to go. So this one, cards. Bring cards. So here's how you do it. So with adults, you can play games. What I recommend, and we always do, is like a Texas Hold'em. So you can do Texas Hold'em, and what you do is tournament style. So people like to play for money, but you're going with family. So you don't really want to be gambling high stakes or having people lose their, right? Losing all their money and getting upset. So the way you do it is you basically pay tournament style. So you say, okay, if you want into this tournament, it's $5. So let's say you have 5 people playing for the tournament. Whoever wins, it's $25, and that's it. And the tournament can take some time because you have 5 people, and there's no second place prize. You could do a second place prize if you want. You could do 20 for first and 5 for second, so you get your money back. But that's up to you in the house. So remember, Texas Hold'em tournament style. Just do a tournament that way. You're out $5, and then maybe in another 30 minutes, play another tournament. If you want to play, you play. If not, you're out. But don't go too high. Don't put it for too much money because people get ticked, and that's family. But some people, they have to play for money. And the last game I don't think I want to show you, which I can't say. Some of my favorites is this one, of course, right? Family Feud. Everyone loves classic Family Feud. And if you try to do it, I used to do it as a DVD. Play it that way, but this version has all the questions, tons of questions. I know it's probably backwards when you guys see it, but It's all in here, and you could just basically keep score, have it guys against girls, different family rivalries. If you want to have their last name are the same, they can play together. Split up your family, play Family Feud. And what's cool is that you could even play Family Feud with more than 2 people. So you can have like 4 or 5 different teams. So if the kids want to play, let it be the kids team. Maybe throw an adult in there if they need it, but otherwise you don't even need to do that. Some of these questions you don't know. The kids might know more than the adults do. It might be a cartoon question. I don't know. So Family Feud is another classic. And I guess that segues into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is game show hosts, of course. Remember Family Feud? He had Richard Dawson, Ray Combs, Louis Anderson, Steve Harvey. And we know Steve Harvey, I heard he's getting in some trouble. So it's anyone's guess who the new host of Family Feud might be. Anyway, wanted to also say rest in peace, Mr. Chuck Woolery. He was one of my favorite game show hosts. You guys remember back in the day a game called The Dating Game or Show? If you guys are bored, feel free to look that up. I'm sure there's episodes on YouTube, and it's just so entertaining, and you never know who's going to pop up or what's going to happen in the dating game. Good stuff. So I wanted to kind of one of my friends and people I've been running into are having some issues, and I just wanted to kind of give you a little history of what happened to me in my life with my first kid, my first son. He basically, and I'm just going to tell you the story. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, and then we can move on. But basically, my son, when he was about 2 years old, he just had his first vaccines, and all of a sudden he just kind of his face got droopy. He just got really sad. He just wasn't there. He wasn't the same person anymore. His speech wasn't developing. And so, my wife at the time, she did a lot of work to do a lot of research and figure out what was wrong. We found out he was, they finally got an order of tampanogram, which found out he had water behind his ear. Basically, they measure the sound waves, and if the brain is actually registering those sound waves. Found out he had water behind his ear, so he got tubes in his ears. And I remember that day, right after he got tubes in his ears, I took him to Disneyland, and it was like sensory overload. Everything that was underwater was now clear for his ears, and from then on, he was just kind of, just looking around, starting to verbalize a little bit more, that kind of stuff, but it wasn't 100%. And then what she realized, and what we realized together, I mean, she realized it, but it was food allergies. She had to fight a full food panel of all the different, they call full panel of all the different food allergies, pet allergies, any kind of allergies he might have, and found out he was allergic to gluten and casein. And most people who are allergic to gluten in general are allergic to soy at some level. So there's so many things we had to keep him away from. This was at age 2, 3, 4. And he also was diagnosed at age about 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old, of being autistic. And we believe that was caused, in some part by those vaccines, and because that was before, Therasol and mercury, whatever they were putting in the vaccines, it was outlawed by Governor Schwarzenegger at some point after these were done. I think it was 2006 or 2000. So it was right after that in the state of California. So the next thing is we found out he could not have gluten or casein. She threw everything out. We threw everything out of the cupboards, everything out of the fridge that we could. Changed all his food. Also found out his body was not holding on to any vitamins. So all the vitamin counts were very low. As if non-existent. So his body wasn't getting the vitamins and supplements he needs. So I had to, spend a lot of money with just the supplements, and every day I counted every day. It was about $8 a day just for the vitamins and supplements he need, fish oil, that kind of stuff. But anyways, so the next thing that happened was he got an influx of white blood cells, immunoglobulin. I forget what it's called. It has a name, but it's basically they just influx you with white blood cells. This has to be done down at Children's Hospital of Orange County. And that was done when he was about 8, 9, and 10 years old. But by the time he was 12 years old, his gut, he had said he had leaky gut. His gut was completely healed. I remember getting the calls, and basically doctor had told us that he can eat whatever he wants. I just didn't believe it. Like anything, like cheese, burgers, and everything. So he was healed, and since then he's graduated high school. He holds down a job. He does very well. He's a happy kid, and I just love my kid. And I hope that helps some people. I mean, I know a lot of people are dealing with this autism. They're dealing with kids with issues, and they're trying to focus on. And doctors will do the same thing. They'll try to focus on here and not the here. You gotta order if they're craving specific food. So if they're craving McDonald's fries, for example, McDonald's fries is the only, I think it's the only fast food place that actually put milk. It's a byproduct. It's actually gluten is in their fries. A lot of things they'll say gluten free, but it's not casein free. There's a lot of questions I can answer for you that I know of things that I know and how I went through this whole thing. So I'm happy to answer those questions. If you want to message me, I can help you out and just tell you what I know. The last thing is just remember through all of it, you need to, you got to pray. I mean, everyone, and you guys want to say I'm preaching, I'm doing whatever, but a lot of prayer is going to help you through this because God doesn't want to see you suffer. He doesn't want to see your kids suffer. It's horrible what's happened to our children, not only in the diet space and the medical space. And we're going to do everything we can to help each other and work together. So anything I can do to help you, to give you information. You could ask me about different foods, what's good, what works, what doesn't. Personally, I'm not talking about diabetes. We're going to talk about that Wednesday. The next show is about a little bit about diabetes. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2016. We're going to talk about my journey through changing my food, all the different things that you could do for your diabetes, just to give you some ideas for both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So I'm grateful to God, and thank you guys for listening. And hopefully I help some people with this information. Feel free to message me, and I'll just tell you what I know. I'm not the authority on this, but I've been through it, and my son was healed. He's one of those miracle children that was healed through just a very alert mom and parents, just able to be proactive, looking for the right answers. So so this is basically the end. I just wanted to give you guys that history. I want to talk a bit about board games, not video games. Video games is a separate thing. We're going to talk about that for Christmas, because I think Christmas is where you get a lot of cool video games and stuff. But we're going to talk about presents as Christmas gets closer. I wanted to let you know that, so this Wednesday, I'm going to do a special Thanksgiving show. I wanted to give you a heads up what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday for show number 7. That's right. Lucky number 7. I do like 7, do it backwards, right? So when we do some Thanksgiving trivia, we're going to talk about I'm going to talk about the first Thanksgiving. So brush up on your Thanksgiving. And we're going to see how you do with the trivia. I'm happy to take anyone's input. So if you guys want to type in an answer, we're going to try that. The other questions we're going to answer are, do other countries celebrate Thanksgiving? I know a lot of them celebrate something similar to Thanksgiving. We're going to talk a little bit about that. What countries actually follow the U.S. and actually support or celebrate our Thanksgiving, and what countries have their own, what date it's on, when it started, that kind of stuff. The other thing is who eats what around the world for Thanksgiving. So when they have their Thanksgiving, what do they eat? So if you're in whatever country, I want to find out. So let's know a little bit about some of these other countries, what they do for Thanksgiving, what they eat, some of their traditions. I think that's going to be interesting. It's interesting to me. I'm hoping it's interesting for you guys. And Thanksgiving and diabetes. I'm going to talk about diabetes. I mentioned that a little bit. And big question for you guys. And I know it's going to stir up a little controversy here, but we're going to talk about who stole the Smurfs from the Spanish language. Yes, the Smurfs were stolen from the Spanish language. Spanish people who speak Spanish, don't call them Smurfs, and it was stolen. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. How did that happen, and how can we fix it? The last thing of Thanksgiving I want to talk about is Wednesday is some wifeisms. So I'll have some wifeisms, some funny stories about some Thanksgiving, some of the worst Thanksgiving, some of the best Thanksgiving. And I think you guys will like some of the stories. So Also, be prepared to share some of your favorite things to eat. If you guys want to type that out in our next show, we're going to talk about some of those things. I'm going to be reading your comments. So whether you're Instagram, Facebook, or even YouTube, I can see comments and I will be commenting back. And we're gonna try to play a little trivia and a little interactive show starting Wednesday. I have done research on some those other software platforms that allows me to use other screens, use other interviews and those kind of things. They are expensive, but it's on my wish list. But of course, my producer said, if you want to spend money, I gotta get followers. So I'm hoping this show I'm going to be doing more sharing in groups, getting the word out that I do that podcast is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I say 7 o'clock, but sometimes it's I don't get started until 8, but it's that night, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every night. On those weekdays, I will be doing a show, a podcast, and you're going to watch it evolve. And I hope you guys have a good time. And I'm really liking your input from some of the shows, the suggestions that I have. And just remember, this Thanksgiving, the goal is to try to spend time with the kids, like the younger kids, the family, in an interactive manner. A lot of times, you throw the kids out and have them go jump in the plaything and jumping around in the bouncer. That's not what they're going to remember. They're going to remember the things that you did with them, that the adults, the older people did with them. Have fun, focus on the kids, learn about those kids. And I think it's going to be at the end of the day, you're going to see this is going to be a different Thanksgiving in their mind and in yours if you just spend some time with these younger people and even the people your age and the people that are older. Play a game with them, find something that they want to do that's interactive. Board games are probably my favorite. So thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you guys had fun looking at the board games, and I'm happy to look at any other board games you guys like. We could talk about that on my next show. If you guys have any other things that you want, like honorable mention board games, I will throw your suggestions in there and talk a little bit about some of the rules. Also, if you guys want to add any of the rules that you like, Uno rules, Scrabble rules, Monopoly rules, some of that stuff, maybe some family traditions, I want to hear about those as well. But after that, all being said, you guys have a great week. I'm going to talk to you guys in 2 more days. So try not to run anybody over. Try not to get run over yourself. And try to do everything you can to die with a smile on your face. Thank you, guys. I'm going to hit goodbye. Say end stream, and I got to hit it again. Feliz